Today's Tips du Jour mailbag question comes to us from Texas. Robert, I have never seen you talk about how lumber is processed. Can you explain a little bit about that? Howard in Texas. Howard, that is a very good question. A lot of people think that food comes from supermarkets. Well, we all know better. Eggs come from chickens, milk comes from cows, and there's a lot of farmers out there doing a lot of work to make sure that our supermarket shelves are stocked. It's the same thing with lumber. I call LMI, lumber shows up on my doorstep. However, there's a lot of people doing a lot of work behind the scenes before it even gets to LMI. Recently, I was in Canada on the East Coast, and I visited somebody who does exactly that, processes lumber. I had my camera with me, so let me show you how it's done. I'm Robert O'Brien from OBrien Guitars. I'm here with Heidi Littke and Dale Smearer of
Smear Inc.
Smear Inc. And a lot of people, the reason why I'm here, I'm in New Brunswick, Canada. The reason why I'm here is because a lot of people think that if you want a back and side wood or some type of instrument wood, neck wood, whatever, you make a phone call and it shows up in the mail. Well, that's not exactly the way it works, right, Dale? Somebody has to go out into the forest, cut it down, bring it in. So walk us through the process. How does this work?
Well, I'm more into the specialty woods like the burnt maple, curly birch, and our lead time should be 3 to 4 months. We keep stock right now. We have about 15,000 next year in stock because of standard size, but we do it every time we have, and no matter what you make, someone's going to ask for something just a little different.
Right.
And we like a 3 to 4 month lead time, especially if they're ordering. We have companies buying a couple of 3,000 parts a year.
Right.
I should shut that machine off. So
that's all right. Let it roll.
Okay. Anyway.
That's what we're hearing here is a vacuum press, and that's where you do your
drying.
Your drying, and well, you'll walk us through that here in a minute.
Yeah, that'll go through.
Okay.
So anyway, like again, the 3 to 4 month lead time gives us a chance to get the. Right now, we're doing a staircase out of bird eye in Prince Edward Island in a log home.
Wow.
And they want live edge, but the lengths they want, and they want 4 inches thick. Of course, we have everything right up to 3 inch, but we have no 4 inch.
Right.
So we're doing that. In January, I'm going to the island to show the carpenter how to help him assemble it.
Sure. And you've showed me some of the pieces around here, and we'll get some of that here on camera in a minute, but beautiful stuff. If you're looking for specialty stuff, this is the place. Curl, bird's eye, you call it what?
Torrefied wood.
Torrefied, instead of flame or curl, you were calling it?
Blister.
Blister.
Just to differentiate it from Western curl. It's not curl, and basically the blister is in the sugar maple, the same as the hard curly, the bird eye maple, and the blister. It's all out of the rock maple.
Right.
It's just 3 different diseases, the same tree.
Okay.
But just 3 different units you can find.
Now, before we turn the camera on, Dale was telling us about how you know by looking at a tree if it has the so-called bird's eye or flame or curl or quilt or whatever in there. And how is that?
The bird eye maple itself, just 21 years I'm at this, and you can go, if you're looking at a solid hardwood ridge, you'll never find a bird eye. The trees, they grow too well.
Right.
A bird eye is going to have 20, 25, 30 growth rings per inch.
Okay.
So it takes an old deciduous forest, and basically it's a 200-year cycle.
Okay.
If you cut your wood, the first thing come up is popples, and that takes 20, 30 years. When that starts when the bottom rots off, then the spruce start coming up. 60, 70 years later, the little hardwoods start coming up. The spruce has a canopy over the hardwoods.
Right.
So what happens, the bird eye will always make a forked top because it is a stressed tree to start with.
So if you see a tree in the forest that has a forked top,
it doesn't guarantee it's a bird eye, but your chances
are greater.
99 out of 100 is going to have a forked top.
Wow, how interesting.
And so you're looking at a 200-year cycle. It's nothing no one is ever going to replant or, and it takes the right ground, also rocky ground. So you get the northern Michigan, the UP Peninsula with all the iron mines.
Right. Northern
New Brunswick here has all the mining, Brunswick mines, which is closed down, but Caribou mines, Brunswick mines, the rock formation that we're on the Canadian Shield here.
Right.
So it stresses because there's not a lot of topsoil in some places. So that tree is on the high ground, the lack of water, the canopy, and that's what stresses it.
So a tree that has grown or had a life cycle under stress.
Yes.
That's going to get you your flame, your curl, your quilts.
Yeah, and the curly grows more freely than the soft curl, but the bird eye, the hard curl, and the blister, that's all under high stress.
And all of your wood, all your trees come from here in the New Brunswick region?
New Brunswick, in the past, Maine, and right up to Gatineau, Quebec, and as far as North Sydney, Nova Scotia.
Right.
I've traveled
and a truck pulls in, they unload, and you go to work.
Yeah, I go out and I scale that every log, like that comes in here. I go scale, and we used to pull in ourselves. I used to run 100,000 kilometers on a tractor trailer a year.
Wow.
But now trying to run the mill and run the other business here and in Bathurst is just too much time, and it's more efficient to get someone else to. I'll go scale it, get someone else to haul
Absolutely.
it in.
And we're going to be able to see this process.
Yes.
We're going to cut it and do all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Folks, you're in for a real treat here. So, folks, what we're going to see here is we've got a log here on the lift. What kind of log do we have here, Dale?
That's a popple, and we're going to make bodies for solid bodies.
Okay, so this is going to be solid body blanks. I used to run one of these sawmills 25 years ago for a friend of mine back in Atlanta. I lived in Atlanta, and I cut thousands and thousands of board feet with the LT40 Woodmiser. It's got hydraulic lifts on it and diesel motor, and it's just, I mean, it does everything but makes your coffee. So we're going to see a little slicing of some wood here. This is how the process starts. You got hydraulic levelers on there. You can level the log. Really cool. You can spin the log, do all kinds of stuff. See him leveling on that end? Now let's start his blade, raise and lower the blade, take a slice. There we go. Sometimes you have to flip your log over to release that tension. Now he's going to roll it up on the square side, on the flat side. There we go. Level it again with your hydraulic levelers. Come in with it. Oh, that brings back memories. Doing the edging over there. Larger logs, you can rotate, get your quarter saw and stuff. Look at that. Now I'll take it, put it in the edger, clean up that edge. Look at that. So this is how it starts, folks. We went from a log to dimension lumber, we put it through the edger over here. What's our next step, Dale?
Next step's the dryer.
Let's go see the dryer. There you go. All right, so we're standing in front of the dryer,
Yes.
which is vacuum press with heat. Tell us about this, Dale.
This vacuum press, over the years, I've been drying wood different places, but they kept closing up. And I had initially looked at this in 2006. The first time I had looked at this.
Right.
This is a vacuum press, and this is out of Vermont. Jim Parker is the guy I bought it from.
Okay.
We were drying some in Williamsburg, Massachusetts before this, which is the same technology, a bigger dryer, but my wait time was 12 to 14 weeks to get the wood back.
Right.
With this, every 7 days here, I have product.
New load, right?
So we come off the mill, and for the customers that we service, if they got an order that they need quicker, you know, our turnaround time is certainly a lot better with this unit here. So we've been running this 2.5 years nonstop.
What's the difference between this and the old-fashioned kilns?
Conventional dryer, you pile up your lumber approximately 4 bundles high.
Right.
They put a piece of concrete on top, which looks impressive, but concrete's 125 pound per cubic foot, which is only 62.5 pound per square foot.
Right.
At 6 inches thick, because that's the slab. So you got 62.5 pound weight on top. On the bottom bundle, you got about 450 pound per square foot.
Right.
When you run a vacuum press, you've got 1,250 pound per square foot. So on top of this, there's 70 ton.
Okay.
A loaded B train weighs 64 ton.
Wow.
So like there's a loaded B train sitting on top of this right now.
Does it make it go quicker? The process is quicker?
It's quicker. We're doing 5/4 lumber right off the saw in 7 days.
Right.
Where a conventional dryer, you air dry for 2 weeks, and it takes 2 weeks plus to dry, so you're 1 month away.
Right.
Where we can do it in 7 days.
Is there any waste? Do you have splitting of the ends and things like that as it dries?
We were doing our wood in different places, and what was happening, we were having a 20% waste factor.
Right.
With this drying unit, we got away. We don't need any anchor seal anymore, and that was costing us $2,300 a tub. We don't need no strapping because we're not putting it on a truck and taking it off.
Right.
We were leaving our wood 4 feet long or 8 feet long when we
Right.
only needed a 36-inch neck, the longest neck.
Right.
Right now, we leave 2 inches overrun on a 30.
That's it, 2 inches.
2 inches is all we need for overrun.
Right.
So we've got it down where we can get approximately 300 necks into the unit. So of the 4x30 size.
Right.
And for us, it's a big, it's paid for itself in less than 2 years.
Right. So it comes off the mill, comes in here, what'd you say, 7 days?
7 days.
7 days,
for 5-quarter lumber straight off the mill.
300 necks.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Very nice. Now, this is not the same thing as cooking the wood, right?
No, this is a dryer, like a conventional dryer, but this is quicker.
Okay. So this is what it looks like after it comes out of the vacuum press.
Yeah, and this is down to 6 to 8% moisture content.
Okay. And so from here, what do you do with it?
Then we process, if we're going to keep it as a white neck without torrefying it or cooking it, we process it right here.
Right. So your planers and joiners and things like that.
Yeah. The first thing we do is we cut it the length.
Right.
Because if there's any deviation in the twisting or that, which there's very little,
Right.
but we cut it the length first. We make an edge on it on the joiner. We cut it the exact width on the table saw.
Right.
Then we go back to the joiner and we make a flat face. And then we go to the planer and make a parallel face.
So surface on 4 sides, basically.
Yes.
Yep.
And that's we do the same with every piece.
And from there, it's ready to ship out to
and
whoever
from there,
to
if we're
sell.
staying with white material, we're ready to ship. Grade it and ship.
Now, and that final product then would be this.
Yes, and this is
And
a
we've
hard
wet
curl,
it just a little bit. There's a beautiful curl in there, a nice flame.
rock maple curl.
Very, very beautiful. So it comes out of the dryer, dimensioned, and off to LMI to sell.
Yes.
Good. All right. And if you're going to torrefy it,
If we're doing a torrefy,
we have another pice here.
this is a piece that's torrefied. If
And
we're
Dale calls this cooked wood.
Yeah.
What's the technical term? Torrefied?
well, it's torrefied is what we use.
And you'll notice there's a nice brown, chocolatey type color on this.
Yeah.
And you're going to run us through that process too, right?
Okay, the wood has to be kiln dried before it goes into the cooker.
Right.
It's approximately a 60-hour process to change the wood. When we do this, we run from 6 to 8% moisture content down to about 5.
Okay.
The wood loses its elasticity, but tonally it's better because it's denser.
Right.
That's just through the grapevine feedback from the companies. This helps us with issues such as a small amount of stain, because then we don't have no issues with staining or because
bluing and types,
Yes.
like that kind of stuff.
And the other thing that it does is aesthetically, people like the look of it, the color, because when this is rough, but when we plane this off, it becomes like a fawn color, the color of a deer.
Right, right.
But
don't try and bend it, right?
But don't try and bend it. Well, there's people that have made guitars,
Right.
And one guy made a violin,
Right.
But they've been making violins for their 3rd generation violin builders.
Right.
So it's possible, but it loses its elasticity.
Right. So it's drier, denser,
Yes.
and apparently better tonally.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a big buzzword right now in the industry. Everybody's saying torrefied wood.
Yes.
Tops, back, sides, necks. So what we have here then is guitar sets. This is maple, highly figured. Let me just put a little moisture on it here, and you can see the bird's eye and the curl and the flame and all kinds of stuff in this lumber. It's just beautiful stuff. And what's happened is this has come out of the kiln. It's been dimensioned with the machinery here, the planers, the joiners, and this guitar set then is ready to go out.
Yeah.
What a beautiful set of wood. And we have neck blanks, we have solid body blanks. This has been torrefied, right?
Yes, and this is blister.
They call it blister. I know it is flamed or quilted.
Yeah, on the West Coast, they call quilt. This comes the hard curly, the bird eye, and this what I call blister, just to differentiate it so no one gets it mixed up that it's West Coast quilt.
Wow, folks.
But this is our East Coast blister.
Let's bring that into the camera. Holy cow. Isn't that beautiful? Beautiful stuff. And why are you torrefying this instead of leaving it white? Is that just what the client wants?
The white doesn't really show a whole pile, the torrefication. We call it the wow factor. Everybody will look at it, but as soon as we rub water on it, everybody goes, wow, that's always the...
And the torrefication process then amplifies the figure in the wood?
Amplifies the figure in the wood. It's the same as the bird eye, it's very easy for it to pop.
Wow.
And then we just one, excuse me.
Is
one
it more
second.
stable after you cook it, after you
Oh,
tortify
yes,
it?
definitely more stable.
Yeah.
And then we can go all the way here with a master, which
Wow.
there's not too many people going to show you a half a dozen pieces that look like that.
Wow. Yeah, that's gorgeous wood. Very dense, very stable, very dry. Check our moisture content. 5.3.
Yep.
Yeah, that's dry. That's dry, folks.
So
Great for building.
Yep.
And this would go out as guitar neck then.
yes,
Yeah.
that goes to the custom shop.
Man, I'm just going to stand here and look through the pile. That's just beautiful stuff.
This is cooked at a higher temperature. This is a soft maple or red maple curl. Mm-hmm. And this is cooked at a higher temperature. So
And so the temperature makes a difference?
15 degrees difference on the temperature. You go from this to
Oh,
this.
look at that. So 15-degree difference. Same time though, right?
Same time.
Just 15-degree difference. Look,
yeah.
you have a chocolate and then a lighter fawn
Yes.
color is what you call it.
Yes.
Fawn color as a let's say a dark bean roast, huh?
yeah. There, dark bean roast. There you go.
Look at that. And just 15 degrees difference.
15 degrees difference. On
That's amazing. So here's the warehouse. All stuff getting ready to go out for guitar necks, back, side, solid bodies. Make a few guitars there, folks. Look at this set here. What do we got, Dale?
This is what we call a big red curly birch, meaning that practically the log was all hard. This is quarter sawn. This come off of a 9-foot, 21-inch curly birch. So it's been quarter sawn and split, and this is where you get that herringbone type pattern.
Right. Whoa, that's going to be gorgeous.
And it's one of the only ones that we cook where you get two tones on the color.
Right.
You notice, like I call it a bumblebee.
Right, right. Boy, beautiful stuff. And that's cooked at the lighter temperature because it's a
Yes.
little lighter, right?
Yeah.
Here's some maple fingerboards, folks. 2,100 pieces. Dale says I could be just like a bear. I could live off the garbage in here. And sure enough, yeah,
This is all, we make pen blanks
yeah.
out of the best of the best.
Wow.
Because you need that tight figured eye to.
Sure, yeah. Boy, look at the bird's eye and the flame in there.
Wow.
Yeah, here's just a little piece of scrap I pulled off of the scrap bin over there.
That's all. Like,
It's going to the burn pile.
see, like,
Look at that. There's a guitar cutting board, folks.
so that's a Gibson body, and that's a Music Man neck, and our longest neck is 36 inches.
Right.
So basically, all I did was shove the neck down into the body.
Yeah, yeah.
But we made one of these for the Gowanbury Golf Course.
Awesome.
So we put a bottle of tequila, the lime, the salt shaker, and we drilled 4 holes here to put shot glasses. And we made about 30 cents.
So there's an idea to do with your leftover scraps, guys.
Look at that.
You can make cutting boards and even guitar-shaped cutting boards. So Howard in Texas, thank you very much for your question. And I think now you and many other people can realize the amount of work and effort it goes into processing the lumber that we use in Luthier. And happy building.